Cool, and I'm gonna just be looking at you when talking.
Look at your camera, man. Whatever feels good, man.
Okay.
That's your camera.
Yep.
That's your main wide camera.
Okay.
If you just want to look off into space and answer, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But what's up, man?
Yeah, let's get this right here.
Yeah.
Let's put our energy back into this, right?
Good energy, good fun energy. Yeah, man. So I want to welcome y'all to the real world. I'm Eric Sattler. Today I'm sitting with a special guest, one that you don't ever really think that you're going to get a chance to sit down with. Longhorn legend. Let me get to this main introduction real quick one time. Today's guest will introduce your offense to the turf. With a Sunday destruction so divine it needs no church. With a career that includes dominating for the Arizona Cardinals, New Orleans Saints, and Kansas City Chiefs, he's a Super Bowl champion and a record setter, 4.5 sacks at an Alamo Bowl game. He's been a team captain, a multi-sport high school star, and now a host of a podcast as engaging as his highlight reel. Address him as AO or the Lifetime Longhorn. He's the master of the rush. He sacks them, bags them, and tags them. None other than Mr. Alex Okafor. How you doing today, bro?
I'm great, man. Can I just take that intro and save that? I might have to steal that from you.
Yeah, do it. That's what the beauty of those intros are for, man.
Absolutely.
You have fun with them as much as you want, man. How you doing today, bro?
I'm doing great, man. I blessed to be here. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, definitely. I'm honored to have you here. Like I said, usually I'm on the other side of these cameras with him, with his podcast and everything like that. So it's dope to sit down and get to know you on a different side and behind the face mask on this side in the real world. Real world is always, we have real conversations with real people. That's what we're about over here. So I just want to get started off today, man. A little bit about before Alex Okafor became Alex Okafor, where you came from.
Yep. So I grew up in Dallas I was born and raised in Dallas up until about the 3rd grade. And then in the 3rd grade, we moved to this small suburb right outside Austin, Pflugerville, Texas. Pville, baby. Yeah. When we moved out there, it was, I don't remember the exact year, but it was like early 2000s. And I think there might have been 1 or 2 high schools out there. And the rest was just like country land. So it's, that good old Texas feel. But a lot has changed since then, but that's my origin.
The wide open plains of flatlands of
Texas.
So I saw that you have a cultural background. Your father's Nigerian. What was that like growing up in a cultural household? And I saw that they met at Grambling State.
Yep.
Yeah, what was that like?
So my experience is a little different. So when you meet like true Nigerians, like you know that feel.
Yeah.
But for me, it's a little different. My pops was born and raised in Nigeria, moved out here for college when he was like 18 or 19. But my mom is originally from Texas. She's from Tyler, Texas.
Okay, nice.
I kind of got the best of both worlds. I got the immigrant African Nigerian experience growing up, and I got the Black American experience growing up. So that when you combine the two, that's what makes me who I am.
Was that together multicultural? Did that have any influence on like getting you prepared for the physicality and the whole football player aspect or sports athletic aspect?
Yeah, it was. It did, because whenever you have a parent that's an immigrant, to me, they have a different mentality. Like moving across the world on their own, like they got to make something happen for themselves. So it's like you got to eat or you're gonna drown.
Yeah.
So it's kind of knowing that mindset kind of got passed down to me, and that definitely helped me in the sports world.
Did they help you, like, in the sports world? Did it help you? Because I know you played a lot of different sports. You played football, basketball, and soccer. Did all that mindset, like, you got to try this sport, keep you busy, and then you figured out, like, oh, I like football?
It was something like that. So my first sport ever was probably soccer, which to me, it was a blessing because it developed my footwork, got my cardio right. So I think that's the best sport to start off with. Then I went into basketball, and then eventually, like middle of like 7th grade or something, that's when I first started playing football. But it was that kind of going back to your question, saying how does that like immigrant hard work mentality like translate to me playing all these different sports? I think it does kind of translate, like you said, like, try this, and see, what you're the best at, and then really pour into that one thing a little bit. And that kind of helped me growing up.
So why is it football? Why was none of basketball or soccer?
So soccer, I was a goalie. I had no interest in playing any other
Oh,
position.
so your hands were...
Yeah. So it was hands, it was athletic ability, long arms, stuff like that. So it was like it was either I was going to play goalie, or I wasn't going to play soccer at all. So that was my story for soccer. For basketball, which was probably my favorite sport, it's crazy to say I'm 6'5", but I was too small for my position. So I played like power forward or center.
Because you were tall.
Right, absolutely. So I'm playing post, and obviously I get away with it in middle school, get away with it like freshman year.
Yeah.
But on the back end of your high school career, you start running the dudes at 6'9", 6'10". So it's like, damn.
Them country boys.
And I'm not a guard. So it's like basketball dreams over with. So now football, I got the right frame for it. I got long arms. I'm good at using my hands. I played soccer growing up, so I'm a little quicker than I should be at my size. So football, it just kind of all made sense and all came together.
It was the melting pot of it all?
It was. It was a sweet spot.
So you went to Pflugerville High School. Did that young Alex start developing there? And the football player Alex just in high school? Was that like the birthplace of that?
Man, I was very, very raw in high school.
I figured,
I was in my freshman year. I think I might have weighed. My freshman year, I might have been like 185 maybe, but I was still 6'5". I've been 6'5" since probably 8th grade.
So it was a height weight?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm just a pole right now in freshman year. Sophomore year, I'm on varsity, still really raw, but starting to get my physicality down a little bit. Then junior year is when I start really putting it all together. It's like, it starts to click to me like, oh, I can really do what I want out here. Like, once I really learn how to use my hands, I can dominate out here. And that's when my confidence really started growing my junior year. And then senior year, that's when I pull it all together. That's where I felt like the man.
Did your height help you on the line in defense and on P-ville?
Height definitely helped. I think more than anything, it was my long arms. What's
your wingspan?
I couldn't tell you my wingspan. It's been a long time since I've been at the combine.
At least 6'5".
I'll definitely tell you my wingspan is longer than my height. I got long arms. And I remember my high school coach, Coach Zerno. Shout out Coach Zerno. But he made a comparison on the field that I would never forget. He's like, look, you got to use these arms to your advantage. Imagine these arms are 2 steel rods. And every time somebody tries to fire at you, you hitting them with the steel rod, just hitting them. So whenever he made that comparison, it just clicked in my mind. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm pressing these dudes. Yeah, so it's...
So you became Jax from Mortal Kombat. I like these.
I ain't have the shirtless, one sleeve metal arm, but it felt that way. Yeah.
So after that, your P-ville, obviously you started getting your eyes on you. You started going into the college route. You're scouted by college. Did you have a lot of offers? How did Texas become the one that was for you?
I had a whole lot of offers. I think my first offer came in towards the end of my sophomore year, and I think it was from Texas Tech. And I don't even think, the Red Raiders. I don't even think they saw me play. I just think they saw my measurables, and I think my coach told them,
like, hey, let's go look at Alex real quick.
Right, my coach told him, like, hey, we got somebody coming up the pipelines. You might want to get ahead of this situation. Nice. So Texas Tech threw me one early. Nebraska threw me one early. And those were like my 2 early offers. But then coming into my junior year, when I started like really refining my skill set, that's when the big hitters started coming in. Not that Tech and Nebraska ain't big hitters, but it ain't the offers like Texas, LSU, Oklahoma, schools like that.
40 acres.
So I got most of my major offers my junior year. However, I will say the one school I really wanted to go to never offered me. And I always say that. Like, growing up, I wasn't necessarily a Texas fan. Like, obviously, everybody around me was a Texas fan, but I kind of had a little bit of Texas fatigue being from this area.
It happened.
My team growing up, though, was the Florida Gators.
Hey, okay.
Yeah, Tim Tebow, Pouncey Brothers, Percy Harvin. Like, they got all these dudes. So that's where I wanted to go, but they never even looked my way.
So when you chose Texas, did you go through the whole selection of your hats and all that? How did that work out for you?
No, I didn't. So for the people out there watching it that ain't familiar, the people that do the caps and all the selection things like that, those are the people that wait to the last possible minute. They wait till signing day, which is in February. Me, my situation, I knew I had a chance to come in and play early. So I kind of set up my like classes and credits to where I could graduate in December. So I say all that to say I had to commit early in order to graduate in December. So I didn't go through the whole selection process.
Hey, but you were locked in though.
I was locked in.
That's all that matters.
I had to make a decision early. So I locked in on Texas, gave him my commitment, I think right before my senior year started. And then I had a one-track mind to graduate by December and get out there for spring ball.
Right, so your one-track mind led you to Texas, and that's where you put on 22 sacks, and 56 quarterback pressures. Talk about what clicked to you during those times at Texas, and how did you develop to become that dominant pass rusher there?
Yeah, I had an interesting journey at Texas. So come in freshman year, have a hell of a spring off season. Coach is telling me that I'm going to be in the rotation. I'm going to get to play some. Season starts. This is the 2009 championship team. I'm behind Sergio Kendall. I'm behind Sam Acho. I'm behind Lamar Houston. So I come into the season thinking I'm going to play, but obviously we go undefeated up into the national championship game. And it's like not many young guys are playing at that phase because we're trying to get that chip. So freshman year, I was sitting and watching. Sophomore year, okay, I'm like, it's my time to make an impact, make a difference. We had a hole at defensive tackle. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with recruiting, but our interior of the D-line wasn't as strong as our edges. So the coaches are like, look, you got a big lower body. We feel like you could put on a lot of weight. We're going to spin you down to 3-tech and see what happens. I'm not a 3-tech. I know that, but I'm so young, I can't really make the demands that I want at the time. So it's like, all right, fuck it, I'm going to do it. So I spin down, and it was probably the worst season I had at Texas. Just because I was undersized. I'm playing D-tackle at 265, 270. I'm getting up to the line of scrimmage, and they see me at 3-tech, and literally the QBs are checking on the line of scrimmage. I can hear them checking right in front of me, like,
small guy,
double. Like, I think they call it a Trey call back then, but they're like, Trey, and I knew it. I was like, damn, here comes the double, though. And that was the story of that season. So sophomore year didn't go like I wanted. Finally, my junior year, I'm an upperclassman. They moved me back outside. I'm like, okay, this is my moment. Like, I'm back to the edge. I got a chance to earn a starting spot. Like, I can't let this opportunity slip away. And since my junior year on, that's when it clicked and just took me to the promised land.
So define 3-tech for us that don't speak football things like that.
So on the defensive line, you got 4 players typically. You got the 2 outside defensive ends, and then you got the 2 inside D tackles. The bigger of the D tackles, we call that a nose tackle. He's playing over the center and over the guard.
I played that in my Pee Wee
Did
football
you?
days.
Okay.
First play in, I got a sack and I hurt the quarterback. My mom still has that footage. Shout out to mom, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out.
Shout out to nose tackles out there. There's no love no more.
They need love too. But yeah, so you got the nose tackle that you played is over the center most of the time or the guard. They chew a lot of doubles. Then you got the 3-tech, who is slightly smaller than the nose, and he's more of the rusher. Like, you expect him to get upfield. He's still chewing doubles, but he's a little bit more effective in the pass game. That's where I was at, 3-tech.
Nice.
Yep.
So after that, obviously comes draft day. Where were you at on draft day?
So I was actually here in the city. Since I am from Pflugerville, I just had it at the crib. So I had it at my folks' crib. I knew, so the way the draft was back then, it was first round was on the first night, second and third round was on the second night, and then 4th through 7th round was on the third day. I wasn't projected as a first rounder, so that first night, I'm just having family over. We're just kicking it, watching, just enjoying it. No pressure, no nothing, no expectations. So let night 1 go. Now, night 2 comes up. This is when I'm expecting to come off the board. Like, I had a second round grade. I'm like, there's no way I fall out of the 3rd round. So I got all my family over at the house. I got just people I grew up with, like my best friends growing up. I got my childhood barber. I got my agent, just my homies. So we're all watching the 2nd and 3rd round, and I'm waiting for my name to come. I'm seeing guys come off the board. And it's tough because it's guys you know that you're better than, and their name is getting called. It's like, come on, you gonna take this dude over me? I played against this dude, and I showed out more than he did. So that was a tough situation. I didn't get called on the second night. It was tough, But early on that third day, I want to say it was like the 6th pick of the 4th round. That's when I heard my name for the Arizona Cardinals. And that feeling of disappointment that I had night 2 was completely erased. And it's like, damn,
It don't
I'm
even matter
really,
at that
it don't
time.
matter. Like, I'm in the league.
Yeah.
Like, I did it, man.
That's
I did
right.
it. And that, it's a feeling I'll never forget.
So what was one of those unexpected transitions from college to the pros that you weren't expecting on the first year of pro? You're like, helmet on, you hit that practice training camp. What's that like? What was your
unexpected hiccups that come from college to the pros. I think the biggest thing for me was like rookie hazing.
Oh.
And it's like at the college level, it's more of like hazing in terms of like putting in extra, like we're gonna make this rookie do a little bit more work outside, or he's gonna carry our pads, or something, just something slight, something like
jerseys.
Yeah, wash the jerseys, clean up my locker, something like that, something easy. In the league, they start coming for your pockets, and they come for your time. So like, I vividly remember it was after practice, and we had meetings. So practice ends. We got about 30 minutes to shower, get in the tubs, all that. Then we're going to go to meetings and watch the practice.
Yeah.
The vets come over to me after practice like, hey, Oak, we need you to get some donuts for the meeting room. Oh. I'm like, are there any donut shops still open? So they give me the name to a donut shop. It's like 10, 15 minutes away. They're like, look, I know you still ain't showered. I don't know how you're going to make this work, but we're going to need those donuts, and you got to get back before the meeting starts. So it's just, so I'm sweating. I'm like, all right, whatever. I grab my car keys, go pick up like 3 dozen donuts, bring it back to the meeting room. By this time, there's only 5 minutes left before meeting starts. So I'm literally sitting in meetings, soaking wet from practice, watching film while everybody's all showered, eating donuts, enjoying the session.
On the slides, eating their donuts. They're feeling like you just worked out. Man.
So I'd say the rookie hazing is a little different at the next level.
In your second season with the Arizona Cardinals, you led the team with 8 sacks. What was it about that season that allowed you to excel, and how did you handle that expectations going into the second year?
Yeah. Second season for me, so I got to rewind it a little bit to give the full story. But first year, my rookie season, I tore my bicep the 3rd week of the season, out the rest of the year. So I played, I want to say 1 or 2 games, and then I was out. My whole rookie year was just scrapped. So second year comes around, and we have a couple guys go down at outside linebacker. Like that's where the Cardinals drafted me at, was outside linebacker. We had a couple guys go down. So I'm up. Next thing you know, I blink, I'm starting at the beginning of, like, not the beginning, but the middle of training camp, I'm starting, and heading into the season, I find myself starting my second year. So the Cardinals call my agent, David Mulugeta, and they're like, shout out David Mulugeta, best agent in the world. But yeah, they call David and tell him, yeah, we're excited to see what Alex can do. I know we're kind of tossing him into the fire, but just a heads up, he's going to get all the reps that he wants, and it's going to be a make or break season for him. Either, this going to be our guy moving forward, or we're going to have to look for his replacement if he doesn't play that well. So David tells me this, and this is my second year, so it's like,
pressure's on.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, it's only year 2, and it's already make or break. Like, I'm going to be out the league if I don't ball this year.
Well, they say it's like, what, 3-year average?
2.5.
2.5 year average for an NFL player?
And it comes quick, just like that. So for me that year, it was more of do or die. And the motivation was there. I wasn't going to drown. I was going to ball, no matter what. Like, I'm not going to be a, like you said, 2.5-year guy. That wasn't going to be me. I was going to be, my goal was to be 5 to 10 year guy. So I knew I needed to ball that year, and that's what happened.
Nice. You consistently been a reliable tackler, missing just 4 tackles over 41 games since 2016.
Damn.
4 years, 13 tackles, 42 games. That's some numbers that I pulled up for you, brother. What's your approach to tackling, and how do you ensure consistency on the field?
Yeah. I think when it comes to tackling and missing tackles, I think you got to put your ego to the side. Like, a lot of people are looking for that mash, like that blow-up shot.
Sports Center highlight.
Yeah, Sports Center highlight. They're chasing that. And that's good and all. Like, that sends a message on the field, and that helps your team. That helps with momentum and big plays, stuff like that. But in order to be an efficient tackler like I am, you just got to get the guy on the ground and do whatever it takes to get him on the ground. It ain't gonna be sexy. It's gonna be a shoestring here, a calf here, maybe a jersey pulled down. Yeah, but it ain't gonna be pretty, but it's gonna be effective, and that's what I prided myself on.
Even scaring them into a tackle.
Just like popping up in the hole and just making the running back trip on himself.
You've seen those quarterbacks, they're like,
those be the best, man. Where you run up on the QB and he just falls. He just. I'll take that set.
Easy number. That's a check right there for you. So after the injury in 2017, you re-signed to the New Orleans Saints on a 2-year deal. 2017, 43 tackles, 4.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles in 10 games. Mm-hmm. What motivated you to stay with the Saints despite everything going on? And what was it like for you to be involved with that team through that recovery process?
Yeah, so I got a lot of love for the New Orleans Saints. Just giving some background on that 2017 season that you just spoke of. It was my first season with the Saints. I did 4 seasons, played out my rookie year with the Cardinals. Then I was a free agent. Decided I need to change the scenery, go to New Orleans. And in New Orleans, that 2017 season, I think is the best ball I ever played in my career. I know when I was with the Cardinals that second year, I had my highest sack total. But the level I was playing that 5th year with the Saints was the highest level of ball that I ever played in my life. Best season I ever put on tape. Unfortunately, week 10, blow my Achilles. I'm devastated. At this point, in my mind, it's like, damn, am I injury prone? I tore my bicep my rookie year, tore my other bicep my 4th year, and just ended up playing through it. Now, my 5th year, I popped my Achilles when I'm playing my best ball and I'm supposed to get paid. So mentally, I think that year was probably the hardest on me mentally because I was on a 1-year deal with the Saints, playing my best ball. Me and Cam Jordan were the 2 highest, we were the highest rated pass rushing duo in the NFL when I went down. So I was about to make generational money that offseason, and it just wasn't in the cards. So mentally, I had to overcome that. And the Saints helped out a lot. The Saints could have left me high and dry. They could have been like, it's a 1-year deal. You did well for us, but we don't know if we want to invest in you in the future because you just popped your Achilles. They could have left me on the street. But no, they signed me to a 2-year deal. And not only was it a 2-year deal, it was a 2-year deal where the second year was an option, where if I reached a certain amount of sacks, it was like, man, you balled for us. You can go hit free agency. Yeah. And that's what happened. I signed that deal, reached my sack incentive. And after that second year in New Orleans, I hit free agency, and that's when I signed with the Chiefs.
So I saw an interview with Cam Johnson, and Cam Jordan, sorry, and he was talking about. He looked devastated when you went down, and you could tell he was like, man, that's a big loss for us. What was it like playing with him and being that dynamic defensive duo with y'all?
Yeah, Cam Jordan is probably one of my favorite teammates ever. One, he's a genuine dude, and he always had my best interests in mind, and he always looked out for me. But 2, he's just he's got so much personality, man. He's gonna be on TV after he's done playing ball, but he just has this personality that just rallies everybody. He just has that demeanor that brings everybody together, and we're always having fun. He's always joking, cutting up. So we had a lot of success together, but we always had fun off the field as well. So he's definitely one of my favorite teammates.
He made that process easier for you, getting through your recovery and allowing you to be that next person that you need to be on the next level.
Yeah, he did. He was there. He was really supportive. Cam was really, really supportive when I went down. He was somebody that always stayed checking on me, stayed in my ear, always talked about how he was excited to get me back out there on the field. And not only him, the whole D-line was like that, but he really took it upon himself to make sure I was good and I was ready for that next upcoming season. And I thank him for that.
Shout out to Cam.
Shout out to Cam Jordan, man. Hall of Famer in the future. Get him that gold jacket, baby.
Let's go. In 2018, after recovering from your Achilles injury, you returned to the field and made an immediate impact for the Saints. What did it mean for you to come back and help coming back off of that setback? What did that mean to you that year?
It was that 2018 season. It was a confidence booster for me because, like I told you, when I went down with that Achilles the year before in 2017, the thoughts of me being injury prone started creeping into my mind. So follow that with the 2018 season. I played every single game that year. And the only game I didn't play was because we were already in the playoffs and Coach Payton was like, look, starters are sitting out no matter what. So to be able to go from me possibly thinking that I'm injury prone to the following year playing the whole season without any hiccups and still producing at a high level, that 2018 season was a confidence booster, and it was a resurrection to my career. Like a lot of people in my position after that Achilles, that would have been their career most of the time. But that 2018 season kind of reinvigorated me and put me back on the map a little bit.
Was it just like Alex on the field, or was it like Alex off the field that was also like rejuvenated and had new life to him?
Yeah, so it was. I'm glad you asked that because it was a little bit of everything. Right. So when you go down with an Achilles, you're not mobile. You're in bed or the couch all day. So I did a lot of reading during that off season. I met my current wife during that off season.
Shout out to wifey.
Yeah, shout out to Kaylee. Shout out to Bay. Met her. Also too, I met a guy named Arid who I took with me throughout my career. Arid Hansel. He's in New Orleans, but he was my bodywork guy. So that offseason, I added a whole lot of different pieces to my life and my lifestyle, and bringing that all together is what got me to that point in 2018 where I felt like, it was a rejuvenation in my career.
So that's interesting too, because so you went from Cardinals to Saints, and then you eventually got to the Chiefs. What did you take from each one of those organizations as you progressed throughout your career?
So when I was with the Cardinals, my rookie contract year 1 through 4, had a lot of good times, but also made a whole lot of mistakes. Right. So I view that kind of Cardinals era as young AO kind of learning and learning from his mistakes, like growing up a little bit.
Right.
Then the Saints, that little 2-year stretch with the Saints, it was like I've seen the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. So for me, that little 2-year stretch with the Saints was like, how do I get myself mentally focused and emotionally stable? So working on the inside of me with the Saints. And then the Chiefs is that's kind of when I was mature AO and the professional. And I was able to kind of lead. I was able to be the player that I wanted to be. And, that's where I got to finish my career. And so that's kind of how I look through each era kind of my career.
Going through those injuries and sitting at home, I'm on the field. It's like, let's just free for all plays. That like that mentality that you get into.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was, by the time I got to the Chiefs, like you said, I had taken my bumps and bruises, made mistakes, learned from them, rehabbed off injuries. So I just felt like I had been through the fire. Like I had been tested. So I was confident when I went to KC. I was able to lead because we had a young D-line. It was one of the first opportunities in my career where players were actually looking up to me, and I got to play that older OG leader. So it was a good experience.
So doing that, unfortunately, obviously the injuries didn't allow you to play in the big game, but that whole season with the Chiefs, your first year with the Chiefs, y'all made it to the Super Bowl and won. Although you didn't get the time on the field, you were as important throughout the whole season to get to that moment, and you obviously were off on the sideline. Like you said, you were the OG, you were the voice for the defensive guys, you were letting them know, like, hey, this is how you stay in it, y'all pick yourselves up, continue on. What was that for you now that you're not on the field, off the field? What did that do for you mentally?
Yeah, and it was tough. Kind of going back to what you said, that season, 2019, my first year with the Chiefs, I had every game I was available for, like I was healthy for, I started for that defense.
And you killed it, by the way.
Yeah, and I balled that year. I had 5 sacks in 10 games, which if you put that over 16 games, that's 8 sacks, would have tied me with my career high my second year. I say that to say I was playing at a high level with KC. So being able to play at that high level and not being able to play in the big game, the Super Bowl, that was tough because it's every kid's dream. I was playing great ball. I want to show off my skill set. Like I want to showcase myself on the biggest stage, and I didn't get a chance to do that. But kind of going back to your question, like, what did it mean to me to be on the sideline? Like, it was still a blessing because whether I was out there playing or not, I still got to experience that Super Bowl atmosphere. And that's like, how many people can say they can do that? And not only that, I helped the team get there. So I felt validated, and you know, I felt grateful and blessed, and that's how I had to look at the situation.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, like, growing up in sports, they tell you like everybody's important, from the guy cleaning the floors to the person getting the last sack or whatever. I mean, to me, every person on that team has a job, whether you're on the field or off the field. Each voice, each pick me up for a player, everybody has a job. And whether you did it on the field, like I said, or on the sidelines, man, like you are a Super Bowl champion. That can't be taken away from you because you helped that team get to that spot throughout the season, and you helped them during that game. You may have said something to a player that's just like, yo, he's right. He may not have told you like off that spot, like, but you could just be like, hey, yo, pick yourself up when he's coming. Look out for this when you're doing that. Just those little notes, that coaching is very important. So like I said, man, like you still are a Super Bowl champion, and that means to anybody else, that means everything. You know what I'm saying? So for you, getting to that spot, man, it should mean something to you. And I'm glad that you see it, like it validated you. Like, yeah, I'm still a Super Bowl champion regardless. Enjoy that confetti.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you saying that. And it's true because like in a situation like that, like when you had a lot taken away from you, you can start feeling sorry for yourself and, start looking down, start having them bad mannerisms. Or you can be like, you know what? I'm blessed regardless.
Yeah.
Like, I'm blessed. I'm out here playing a kid's game for a living. I'm part of this Super Bowl environment. Like, what I got to be to have my head down for. So, yeah.
So every player that has gone through injuries has isolated themselves somehow, some form. What did you do to stay connected with your team during those injuries? What was that one thing that you're like, every day you just had to say to yourself to get you go back onto that field?
Yeah. For me, it's just you got to be around the guys. Like you said, like with injury comes isolation because you're in the training room and they're on the practice field. And you almost start feeling like you're not a part of the team anymore. And I know a lot of players go through that same feeling. So to kind of like reignite yourself, you just got to be around the guys, whether that's, being like, can we finish this treatment up after practice? I want to go out there and watch a little bit of practice, be around the guys. Or if there's a team dinner, you know what? I got a torn Achilles, but I'm a scooter my way up to this team dinner. And
you had the little knee scooter?
Yeah, I had the little knee scooter. So it's like I'm a roll into the restaurant on my scooter, but at least I'm gonna be around my guys.
Hey, but you get elevator access everywhere, man.
They roll out the red carpet for you. But I think that's the key in terms of staying focused and locked in is just being around the guys that you shed blood, sweat, and tears with, because that keeps you feeling like you're part of the team. If not, you feel like you're in an individual sport once you go down and you get hurt. So
when you re-sign with a team or you make those decisions to switch to a new team or whatever, what goes into those thought process? Like what goes in there for you? What do you look forward to your next team or continue to stay with your team?
Yeah, I think every situation is different. I think for every player, the situation is different. So for me, when I was leaving the Cardinals, going into that next season, my 5th year, one of the important things for me was I needed a fresh start, and I needed a team where they was going to be able, where I'd be able to come in and potentially start and play right away.
Right.
With the Saints, that was an opportunity for me to do that, and I got a chance to, like I said, reignite my career. Now heading to Kansas City, it's a little bit different. Like, after that last season with the Saints, I was completely healthy, had a great year in 2018. So I'm looking at myself like, okay, I'm a plug and play type guy. Somebody's going to throw me some money and I can make an immediate impact on this team. So let me line myself up in a position where I know that I can go out here and ball. And with KC, I knew heading into that offseason, I knew I wanted to play left defensive end. So when I played for the Cardinals, I was a left end, played some good ball at left end. Going to the Saints, Cam Jordan was a left end, and I kind of had to get in where I fit in, so I played right. Now that, I'm mature, professional AO, I'm like, you know what? I want to go back to that left side. I think I earned the right to go on that left side and really get back to balling on that left side. So going into free agency that year, I knew I needed to play left end, and the Chiefs had an opportunity for me.
What is it about the left side?
It's just the side I played on my whole life.
Oh, okay.
So it's just a little bit more natural. The hips flip a little easier on that side. So
describe the Super Bowl. What is it for people who haven't experienced it on the field? What is the atmosphere, the media days, before, after? What is all that process like?
Whew, a lot of distractions.
Yeah.
So, like, I think the biggest key for guys in Super Bowl week is just stay level-headed. Don't get caught up in the lights and the distractions, because there's so many media and fan distractions circulating. Like, every single day, we got to go do some media for a news network. Every single day, you got crazy fans just screaming at you. So, I mean, it's very easy to get engulfed in everything surrounding the football. You go out to eat, every restaurant in that city is decorated and draped out for the Super Bowl, and you're playing in it, so they're going to cater to you.
They
so
see a six whatever guy coming in, fully stacked up.
Usually you with some teammates too.
5 of y'all walk in, y'all go, they know y'all playing.
So I mean, just when you see all that going on, it takes a lot just to keep the blinders on and stay focused. And to me, the team that can do that the best is usually the team that ends up winning.
Speaking of team, each of those locker rooms, they were obviously different, different cultures for different teams. What do you remember the most about every locker room, whether it be the same thing through all of them or something different that you're like, man, this is crazy. It's a different team. It feels different.
Good question.
That's what we do here.
Yeah. I'll say this. I think locker rooms kind of take the personality of your leader or your best player. So kind of looking at the 3 locker rooms that I was a part of, I look at the Arizona situation. I didn't have too big of a voice in the locker room. I was young, but at the time, our best players were Larry Fitzgerald and Carson Palmer. And we had Bruce Arians as our head coach. So it was really a very professional.
Yeah, I was about to say that sounded like to a straight line, shirts tucked, tie straight.
It was a very professional environment. Then I go on to the Saints, and like I said, the leaders is like Cam Jordan. We got Drew Brees, which is a great dude. Sean Payton. So it's New Orleans was a little bit more like laid back.
Bounce
a little bit more. I'm not gonna say swag, but just a little bit more, like you said, bounce to it. Like we had, we took pride in having fun and stuff like that. I
call Sean Zoolander because he's always like, he always got some Zoolander lips, like he's just frozen. What's going on here?
No, that's so true. But yeah, so we took pride in having fun in New Orleans, and that's what comes with the city. Like we took the personality of the city, like turn up, party, like have fun with what you're doing. And then I go to Kansas City, and obviously our best players then was Pat and Travis Kelce, and so like you take the personality of those guys, and now it's like you're really having fun with it. Like you going out there.
They're young at the time too.
Yeah, they're young at the time, but they're out there balling, best of their position, and just having fun, carefree ball. So it's just like we had a saying in Kansas City, like go out there and let your personality show. So on those KC teams, it was more like it's almost like you go out there and you're really an entertainer. Like let me go entertain. Like this is what I do. Let's put on a show for the fans. So those are kind of the dynamics between the 3 teams and the 3 locker rooms.
So in those locker rooms, obviously, you have, like you said, you had different leaders. With everybody that you play for, who is the most talented in all aspects, whether it be on the offensive side or defensive side? Who stands out of every locker room to you?
I played 7 seasons with Tyrann Mathieu, and he's probably the best teammate. Like I would say, Honey Badger. I would say Cam Newton's probably my favorite. I said Cam Newton. Cam Jordan.
Sorry, Cam. We just messing your name up today, bro. It's nothing like that. There's so many Cams out here. We got 2 Cams here.
I should know that. I played with him for 2 seasons. But I'd say Cam Jordan's probably my favorite teammate, but Tyrann Mathieu is probably the best football player I ever played with.
I followed him, man, when he went, man, he came to Texas. I was like, man,
Bro, that dude is unreal. Like, I mean, everybody knows Tyrann's story. He's not the biggest dude, but he encapsulates like that mentality of having it in here. Like, I've never seen a dude like just have it in here and it exudes. Like he just exudes confidence and playmaking ability, and he didn't let anything stop him. So,
So on the flip side, who was the most underrated player that you played with? Didn't get the media days and all that like he should have.
Underrated player that I played with. So, I mean, I'm a defensive guy, so I'm gonna stick with defensive guys.
Stick with what you know.
Yep, absolutely. I will say most underrated guys I played. I got two guys. One with New Orleans, it was Demario Davis.
Okay.
And when I played with him, he was older than me when I played by a couple seasons, I think of 1 or 2 years, but he was just hitting his prime when he came to New Orleans, and I kind of got to see that upward trajectory.
Nice.
And now he's all pro every single year. And even though he's getting these accolades, he's not a household name.
Right.
Like, not too many people are going to know who Demario Davis is, but he's for damn sure a top 5 linebacker in this league and probably my most underrated teammate. Outside of that, I'll move on to the Chiefs. I would say the guy that played opposite me at defensive end, I say Frank Clark. And the reason why I say he's one of the most underrated guys that I played with, the talent is there, and everybody knows the talent is there, but I don't think people realize, like, how his mentality affected a defense. Like, the mentality that he comes to play with each and every single day motivates everybody that he's around.
Yeah.
And he really gets the most out of the guys that play with him because of that mentality.
Yeah, that's dope. It's always good to have those guys that are just quiet under the radar. They don't let lights and all that stuff get to them. It's just like, yo, we're here to handle business. I'm going to show y'all what business is like. That's dope.
Yeah.
Couple of numbers for you, 80, 57, and 97. These are jersey numbers that you've had throughout your career. What is it about those numbers does it mean to an athlete, and how did it feel changing numbers? Did you have any kind of like superstitious issues with those numbers being changed?
No, jersey numbers get a little personal for guys. For me, I guess my story was when I first started playing ball, 7th grade, I was, like I told you, tall and skinny. Right. I was a tight end. Tight end was my first position. That's why I was number 80. And I just kind of took 80 with me all the way up through college. Whether I was offense or defensive side of the ball, I was going to be number 80 because that was my first jersey number ever. Yeah. So 80 took me all the way through college. Then you get to the pros, and the number situation is a little bit more strict. Like, 80 is just reserved for tight ends and receivers. So it's like, damn, I can't get 80 no more. So when I got drafted by the Cardinals, they drafted me as an outside linebacker. So my numbers had to be either in the 40s, 50s, or 90s. Those like 3 options. So initially they showed me like what options I had. I said, okay, let me get 55. Nice round, even number. Not even, but 5-5. Right. Like, smooth number, looks good on the jersey. They gave me 55. My rookie year as a Cardinal. Then, after I got drafted, I want to say 2 weeks later, they signed John Abraham, which he's an older guy, but he's one of the best defensive ends to play this game in history. Seniority. So he comes in, and usually, like, if I was an older dude, I could have possibly made him pay me for the jersey. Yeah. But since I didn't have no stripes, nothing, he basically took my number. And the next thing you know, I come into the locker room, I see 57 hanging in my locker. Nobody told me nothing. I see 57 hanging in my locker. I have no idea what's going on. I go out to practice. I see John Abraham in 55. I was like, okay, this makes sense.
You walk around like John Travolta, you're like, this is my locker? No,
right, hold on. 57, is this Okafor? This is my locker.
It feels a little heavy. It's like 2 numbers heavy, y'all. I don't know.
Right, 2 digits heavier. No, so that's the story behind me getting to 57. Yeah. And then all right, I'm 57, I'm gonna make it my own. So I start balling at 57, and 57 becomes my number. So take 57 with me. I had it with the Cardinals, took it with me throughout New Orleans. Now I get to KC. 57 is already taken by somebody. And normally, like I said, vets are willing to pay for their jersey numbers, but I can't cough up 60, 80 bands for a jersey number. Like, that's the going rate. The going rate is anywhere from 40 to 80 bands. For a jersey. I ain't got that in me. Yeah. So since I couldn't get 57, it was either, I wanted to keep either the 5 or 7. Yeah. So it's like, I'm going to keep the 7. So now it either has to be 47, I can't have 57, or it can be 97. Yeah. So it's like, you know what? Let me get that 97.
97s are scary, though.
97 was smooth. Like, it was a little different for me. It's like I wasn't an outside linebacker no more, so it's like it made me look a little bigger.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You had a little scariness on that line with the 97. I see you.
Yeah, that 97, even if I didn't put on any weight, just putting that jersey on added a good 5 to 10 pounds.
There you go. See, numbers matter, y'all. So you have the nickname AO, obviously. Does it stand for anything specific minus just your initials for your name?
Nah, it's just AO just rolls off the tongue. It's just what, everybody's been calling me since college. So
did you have any family nicknames that you grew up with besides AO?
Man, nothing too crazy. Like in high school, it was like Big Oak or Oak Tree.
Oak Tree, okay.
At one point, it was Okie. And then when I got to college, it got boring. It became AO.
You should have had the Okie Doke. Swim move, chop up.
Patent the name, call it the Okie Doke.
See, we missed out on branding. That's why you need a good man on your team to help you with this branding throughout your career.
Damn, that would have been smooth, especially with the NIL stuff going on nowadays.
See, right now, you can still do it. Patent the move, the Okie Doke, teach them in the defensive lines,
No.
Having played with Texas, in Texas, then you go out, obviously, later to Kansas City. There's a big debate about barbecue. Who has the best barbecue, Texas or Kansas City?
Okay. So, heading to KC, I knew KC was big on barbecue. I'm coming from Texas. Inside my mind, it's like, no matter what I have, like, no matter what type of barbecue I try, it's not going to be better than Texas. Like, in my mind, I was already set. I'll say this.
Don't do it to me.
When it comes to brisket, Texas is king.
That's all that matters.
Untouchable.
That's all that matters.
Texas is king when it comes to brisket. When you start talking about like burn-ins and like beef ribs, to me, I think KC got some of the best beef ribs I've ever had. Like,
so we're gonna call it a draw.
It doesn't have to be a draw. This thing, each area specializes in something different. So if you want elite barbecue, come out to Texas. You want elite beef ribs or some burn-ins, you might have to go a little up north to KC.
See, I got some friends and family. Shout out to them. We made trips to Kansas City, and they live from Kansas City, so they're big Chiefs fans, one, and they're big barbecue fans, too. We've always had this great debate since we went out there, and we go back and forth every year when it comes down to football season, like barbecue. It's not even about football no more. It's about barbecue.
Yeah. I was going to say, what's the consensus in your family?
Oh, man, it's Texas all the way.
Texas for sure,
yeah. Well, I'm not much of like the vinegar, sweet barbecue down here. I like that nice, good taste. I don't want nothing too shocking and barbecue sauces and stuff. And I forgot what places we went down to. And they were good. It's not bad. They're good. But something about that Texas, the salty, the burnt, the sweet, all mixed in one. It kind of, taste buds are defined.
I'm with you. In Texas, I will say it's about the meat. Yeah. Like, it's about the meat. In other places, you start getting into like exotic sauces and rubs and stuff like that. Here at Texas, we keep the main thing the main thing.
If the meat's good without the sauce, that's good barbecue. That's what I like about Texas to me.
That's real.
So, just, that was for somebody personal right there. We got to settle the score. Only he knows best here for us. Now that you're retired, you're no longer on the field, but you have plenty going on outside the field. What are some of the things that you got going on? Football related, sports related, or into that same industry that you're in?
Yeah, so I got two major things going on right now that I'm putting like most of my time in. One is trying to figure out what the next career is going to be for me. And luckily, I'm healthy. Got my knees, got my back, got my mind still intact. So I got a couple options, a couple opportunities, but right now I'm trying to really put my focus into sports media. Yeah. So I feel like that's something, I want to stay close to the game without having to coach. Right. And I think being a part of sports media helps me and allows me to do that, especially with the big Texas Longhorn market out here. It just makes sense for me. And I have fun doing it. So that's what I'm doing right now. I don't have any big gigs lined up or nothing. Right now, it's all about the work. I'm trying to get better at my craft. I'm trying to get my reps in and just trying to get my name and my voice out there. So that's one aspect. But the second aspect is whenever I played in the league, like I did a lot back home in my community. Like I hosted everything I did was school related. Right. Hosted a ton of book fairs. Started a reading program at my elementary school where I had my teammates with the Chiefs, like reading kids' books to kids at the school. I've talked at like anti-bullying anti-bullying fairs and weeks and stuff like that. I've shown my face and I've contributed a lot to the school system out in Pflugerville. So for me right now, I was looking, what's the next step for me? And in May, I put my name and ran for the school board, and I won. So I'm a trustee and I'm a school board member for Pflugerville ISD. So those are like, I appreciate that. So those are like my 2 buckets right now.
Man, that's dope. I love anything school, kids, all that stuff, man. To me, like that's like, yeah, you got me. You got me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I am with it, man. I just kids are always the future. You know, they can make a grown man, you know, understand life differently from a kid aspect. So I think that's very important and dope that you're giving back to them, man. So you said sports media.
Yep.
That leads me to my next question: is you have your podcast Behind the Facemask?
Yep.
What inspired that, and what's some things about the guests that you've learned that you didn't really expect to learn from this?
Yeah, it's been cool. So the thought process behind starting up the podcast was just kind of like I needed to find, like I'm not with the major network right now. Like I do a little bit of internship work with the local ABC Austin and CBS Austin networks. I did do a little bit of work with Longhorn Network, but that just completely like unraveled. So I'm not full-time with a major network. So I need me a platform that I can consistently like get reps in and put content out for. And that's what my podcast allows me to do. And seeing how I am in the Austin area, I got the University of Texas right there. I got a fresh pool of talent to be able to just sit down and interview and talk to whenever I need. So it was a match made in heaven, and it's been fun. More than anything, it's been fun, and it's been cool getting to it's called Behind the Face Mask, like you said. So the gist of it is just giving fans some insight to these college players that they normally don't get. Like you obviously know the name, you know the production, you know the number, but you don't actually know who these dudes are. So it's kind of like a format like you're doing here with the Real World, but I do it for current UT players. And eventually the vision for that is to grow that into not just UT player, but eventually NFL guys, maybe cross over to NBA and MLB guys, and eventually maybe get some entertainers. Maybe like a Club Shay Shay. That would be the ultimate goal. So that's the vision for the podcast, and I'm having fun with it.
So you said current, but I've also seen some Super Bowl champions on your podcast as well. I've seen agents as well on your podcast. So you're really branching out to your network of people and people that were lifetime Longhorns with you. They've also been successful into their pro careers as well. So it's not just the current Longhorns, it's current and former. Is that how that works for you?
Yeah, so at first it started current Longhorns, and then it kind of expanded to now former Longhorns, and then I've grown that out to like people that are around the sports, like agents, like you're talking about. And hopefully, eventually, once I max that pool out, I can step into another sport or another like field, professional.
Tell everybody, hey, you got somebody, get them on the show, kind of deal. Yeah, reach out to everybody.
That's the vision, just kind of slow rolling it out. I don't want to throw too much at my fans and my audience all at once. So I try to keep it themed and then slowly incorporate different guests.
So part of the sports media, like you said, and you said you give back to the community, saw that you actually started a school in Kenya. You're a part of that process. What was that like? That's pretty dope.
That was awesome, man. Let me, first of all, shout out Kenny Vaccaro and Michael Hobbs, 2 of my best friends. They're the actual people that started the school in Kenya. I just had the opportunity to tag along and, just help out in any way I could. And, that trip was life-changing because, I mean, anytime you get to be around people that are less fortunate than you, like severely less fortunate than you, it really puts your life into perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
And not only did we get to help with the educational system out there in Kenya, but not only that, like I think I grew as a man just from the experience, just being out there, just counting my blessings, being grateful for what I got. So to be able to go out there and do some great work, but also grow as a person within the process, it was an incredible trip.
So you have the life beyond the face mask and everything like that. What's something that you gathered from a lot of these players that everybody takes advantage of just because they're playing football? You don't really get to connect with them visually like basketball players or soccer players where that's what the meaning of behind the face mask is. How has that influenced you into this next chapter of your life?
Yep. It is. It's influenced me, like you said, it's a good point. As a professional football player, or just an American football player in general, you got the helmet on. It's different than any other sport.
And a brutal sport, too, at that.
It's a brutal sport. Yeah, it's a violent sport. So it's almost as if the fan is a little bit disconnected from you. Like they don't really view you as a person, as opposed to other sports like tennis or golf or even basketball, where you actually can see this person face to face. So you got to get over that hurdle. And with that hurdle, fast forward into where I'm at now, it's kind of caused me a little bit to kind of like reinvent myself.
Yeah.
Like obviously people know me underneath the helmet, number 57 or number 97. But now that I'm in the non-professional sports world, I got to reinvent myself as Alex Okafor.
Yeah.
I can't just be 5'7" or 9'7". Like I got to present myself to the world in a way where I can be productive outside of football.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest obstacle.
You do have a new chance, a new platform, a new voice, a new identity. It's not just, like you said, a number. Now, like Alex gets to show. And it's kind of reverse, right? You get to start back at having to prove yourself in the field. Now you got to get to start back and prove yourself off the field, which is dope now that you're in your next chapter.
It is. Just depending on how you look at it. Like, it is dope. For me, it's exciting because I can be whoever I want to be. I can be anybody I want to be in this world. But for some people, if you don't have the right mentality, it can be a little bit intimidating because it's like, oh, shit, all I know is football. What am I going to do next? So to me, it's just how you frame the situation. And I take it, like you said, as a challenge. Like, people try to box me in as this athlete. Well, guess what? I can do this. I can do that. And watch me prove it to you.
Yeah. So let's wind down the show now. Let's have some little bit of fun before we end this up. So the forever lifetime Longhorn, right?
Yep.
That's the coined phrase when you start your podcast. What song is the Eyes of Texas copied after? And can you recite the Eyes of Texas song?
Wow. I didn't know this was going to turn into a pop quiz, man.
Yeah, I got to have some fun with my viewers here, man. They want to know.
Didn't Texas get in trouble for that song a couple years? One, I probably know like the first 8 words of that song. And after that, I just mumble and hum the rest of the song. So after like the first 2 bars, it's just a mumble session. So I say all that to say I can't even answer your question. Okay. I'm sorry.
So for the viewers out there, I've been working on the railroad.
Okay.
And the lyrics are, the eyes of Texas are upon you all the live long day. The eyes of Texas are upon you. You cannot get away. Do you think you can escape them from night till early in the morn? The eyes of Texas are upon you till Gabriel blows his horn. Okay. It's in the tune of I've been working on the railroad.
Okay.
So it's a little interesting fact for everybody out there.
No, I mean, I've never gotten a lyrical breakdown. And, after getting that lyrical breakdown, you kind of see a little bit why they got in some hot water over that song.
Yeah, I imagine so. So, I just wanted to test you, some of your Texas
I should know that. All right, give me another one.
It's been a while, though. It's been a while.
Has.
So we know
over a decade, so don't judge me.
Let's see. That was actually my only Texas question for you. So I don't want to throw you too many pop quizzes. That's not what we're about to do. So you've had an incredible journey on and off the field. What's next for your exciting plans on the horizon that you can share with us? Anything else going on?
Man, hopefully if the Lord's willing, I can have a little one soon. Like wifey and I, Kaylee, my wife, we're excited of having a child. So we've been working. Everybody I talked to said it's the best thing ever, like you just said. So I think more than anything, if the Lord blesses us, that's what we're most looking forward to. And what I'm most looking forward to. Make a great dad,
man. You're a great leader, like I said, on and off the field, and that only carries on as a father. It only intensifies.
I appreciate that too. And when I played, I was intentional about not having kids while I was in the league because I didn't want to go part-time here with my kid over here. Yeah. So I was very intentional about waiting till I was done playing. So now that I'm done playing, I feel like I'm ready for this moment, and we're looking forward to it.
Well, I wish you good luck on that, man, because being a father is, like I said, is the biggest blessing that I've ever received. It changed my life for the better, made me a better leader in business, obviously. And I have to, employees sometimes are like kids or, clients are like kids. You got to come on, guys, walk them. But being a father helped me into that, and it helped me learn how to conversate with people. It helped me learn how to think differently, not just for myself, but from somebody else's point of view. And it kind of opened up my horizon, my broadened my view to a bigger world, So I can't wait for you to experience that, man. I think you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna succeed in that. So no doubt in that.
It sounds like it gave you a lot of patience. That's what I'm getting
100%
from all that.
100% patience, bro.
I'm with that.
I mean, you're cleaning up shit and piss all day. Let's just be real about it, man. All the fathers out there know what I'm talking about. You open a diaper, it's just like fucking pissing. Like, oh, what the fuck? I got 2 boys, so this shit going everywhere, bro. Something to look forward to. Man. You can't game plan for that.
Man, you can't prepare for that. That's something you got to adjust to on the fly.
Exactly. Yeah. So, one piece of advice that you have for the future Alex Okafor out there.
Man, you got some deep questions. Okay. One piece of advice for the future Alex Okafor. Man, I would say I'd have a couple pieces of advice. I'm gonna try to narrow it down to 3.
Okay.
For me, one piece for sure would be fearless. Meaning, don't be scared to take that leap. Don't be scared to put yourself out there. Be fearless in whatever you do. So that's 1. 2, I would say, don't let them box you in. Like we talked about on this interview earlier, it's like my whole life I've been the football player. Now that I'm not playing anymore, it's good to have those football accolades. Like you said, that Super Bowl champion can't get taken away from me. Right. But at the same time, it's not who I am moving forward. Exactly. So don't let these people try to box me in as just the football player. And third piece of advice, I would say is be patient and allow myself to make mistakes. I don't have to have it all together right now. I don't have to have it all together in 10 years, but as long as I'm constantly moving forward and learning from my mistakes, I'm going to be where I want to be. So I think those would be 3 pieces of advice I'd want to tell my future self.
Nice. So as we close it out for you, looking back on this whole journey, put it in vision for our guys out there. What can you take from your journey that you can progress and that you can tell yourself? Out of everything that you've experienced, what do you tell yourself?
I've lived a lot of life. I've lived a whole lot of life. I've played college ball at the highest level. I've played professional ball at the highest level. I've also had the lowest lows, from injuries to, missing important games to my mom passing away in 2020. I've just experienced a whole lot, good and bad, and it's made me who I am. And over that span, it's forced me to really grow up quick. And, I'm blessed for that. Like, I feel like really, and I was a late bloomer too. Like, I came from a 2-parent household. Like, most of my adversity didn't come till like my 20s. Right. So like, I had to wait a little bit on the back end for me to really hit that adversity wall. But when it hit, like, that bitch hit. Yeah. And I had to deal with it. And throughout my 20s, I had to grow up really quickly. And I'm a better person because of it. And I just got to remind myself the pain, the trauma, the adversity, the lessons I've learned. Don't let that go to waste. I can't make the same mistake twice. I got to take all those experiences with me and make sure that I'm continuing to grow.
You never lost, you only gain lessons.
There you go.
Those are the only L's you take, are lessons.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Any shout outs, plugs, social links on how to reach to you, future projects that you're working on? You want to plug anything behind the face mask? Now's your chance. There's your camera right there, or that camera right there. Let them know what to do.
Yep. So first of all, check out my YouTube channel, Behind the Face Mask, on YouTube. Just type that in. You'll be able to find all the content there. Also, I'm a part of another podcast called Third and Longhorn. That one is a panel of ex-players. I want to say it's like 4 to 6 of us ex-guys, if you just get tired of hearing my voice. So check that out on YouTube as well, Third and Longhorn. And last but not least, shout out the real world, man. I had some fun today.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about, man. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for having these real conversations, real people on the real world. I'm Eric Sadler. We're going to check y'all out on the next one. Don't change the channel. Just click on another person. Wherever these boxes are, y'all click them. Alex Okafor, lifetime Longhorn, behind the face mask. Y'all check it out. Hook 'em.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, dog.
Man, that was hard.
Appreciate you.